listen to the podcast last week?
I didn't.
I used the Kumite soundtrack as the main theme.
Oh, for the music?
Yep, that's part of it.
I have to go back and listen to it.
Just listen
Once I start traveling, I'm going to be running out of podcasts. So
yeah, see, I have the opposite problem. I no longer drive, so I can't listen to podcasts anymore.
You don't listen to work at all? Oh, you can't.
At work,
you
yeah.
can't do it too.
I mean, I guess I could, but I couldn't. I can't really listen to a podcast and do real work, you know?
Yeah, I'm running into that problem now a little bit too.
You're Mr. fucking multitask over here. You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
I can't listen to somebody talk and then also like write something that I'm trying to think about.
Well, it really depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing something where I'm just kind of copying the words, I can do it. If I'm like really processing, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I listen to video game music at work.
Yeah, no words, huh?
No, I don't like words.
So we're back.
We are back.
A dinosaur story.
Yuri's been working hard, man.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, but doesn't it feel longer? At least for me, it does.
I feel the same.
Feels like a long time for me, but that's because I guess this new job and everything. It's been nuts, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been really crazy. So.
But good. In a good way.
Yeah, actually. I mean, the days are long, 7 to 6, but they go faster on average than almost all the days I had at my last job.
Yeah, that place is agonizing, huh?
It was a grind.
That fucking government work, man.
It's such a grind. It's so slow. Oh, I mean, it's night and day, man. The two places, so different.
It's because people feel different.
Yeah.
They feel like you're one place because you want to succeed and have ambition, and you're in another place because you're ready to die.
Exactly. It's weird to hear like other employees want to succeed at things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like go out of their way to be like, well, that doesn't seem like it's a good fit for the business. And I'm like, well, why do you care? It's like my first instinct because you're not the business owner. But they feel a sense of ownership in the company and they want to do well for it.
Yeah, that's good. That's it's much better than the other mentality.
Yeah.
Which is I'm going to do my work and not give a shit.
But it keeps you busy. I get why a lot of people have left this job and why there's been complaints about this job. It's because my boss is insane. He's a madman.
Is he a sexual harasser?
No. No. Okay. He's
maybe
he's lightly flirty sometimes. Not really flirty, but like will make an off-color comment. More of an off-color commenter. Okay. But he's definitely not a harasser. I haven't seen him do anything off-putting that I think. But he's constantly cranked to 11. Thinks he's in a movie.
Yeah.
Power plays left and right.
A little bit.
So like every time he wants me to observe these hearings he goes to, right? Which I'll be doing these hearings eventually. And to learn from. The problem is when I'm observing, I'm losing time to do assignments because I'm not upstairs doing assignments. I'm down in the hearings. Which would be fine, except for every hearing I get more assignments from him. Most of them are just random assignments I don't need to be doing. Like he'll be like, we're going to write a letter to this doctor and figure out why he wrote this. And I'm like, we don't need to. It'll be fine. There's no need to write that letter. But you're giving me work to do, which, again, I could do. But then he'll go, your afternoon, you're going to come to 3 hearings with me. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this letter then? On top of 10 other things I've been getting assigned. Yeah. And the other, yesterday, Friday, I had almost a breaking point moment because I've just been getting piled stuff on top of me. This weekend I'm writing a brief to the Federal Court of Appeals. And I'm stressed about this. And then he's like, okay, this afternoon you've got time to work, don't worry about it. And all of a sudden I get a call on my work phone. I get a work phone, by the way, which I'll talk about. It's pretty cool. And he goes, Yuri, I need you down here in 5 minutes. Bring me a copy of the rules and regulations and the disc with the client's case on it if you can find it. So I'm like, oh shit, So I go grab the rules I can find. I bring him downstairs because we're in this building where the hearings are downstairs. And he goes, oh, Yuri, I'd like you to meet our client. Yuri's going to be sitting and observing the hearing. Is that all right with you guys? And I'm like, well, no.
Not okay with me.
Not okay with me. You know what I mean? I've got work to do. You said I could do my work. So there I lose 2.5 hours, and now it's 3:30, and I've got 2.5 hours to do all the work I'm supposed to do. It's like a mess.
What do you use to track your tasks?
I've been trying various things. Yes, I've started using
Works
Trello.
Good. Evernote works.
Yeah, Evernote works. Trello's not bad, but it's not quite. I'm still working on a system. You know what I mean? Still really trying to figure out what's the best.
Interesting.
Because I gotta make sure I go back in and mark them off and update them as I go. And things.
Trello's good.
Trello is good.
You can put due dates on it.
Yeah, that's true.
You can change labels, make them different colors, color code. Put them in different columns, like work that needs to be done, work that doesn't really need to get done.
I got to become a power user. That's what I gotta do. Really figure out how to do it efficiently. Because right now I'm at work and I'm trying to putz around with setting stuff, and I'm like, I can't deal with this right now. Yep. But I have been using it to create tasks to remind myself.
It is good. I like it. I use it.
Yeah. So it's been not so bad. But overall, I still like the job. Still happy. Getting a sense of a reward from it, which I like.
Hey, pretty soon you're going to be doing all kinds of fucking cases and law shit. And
worst comes to worst, I deal with it for a year and, move on from there. But let me tell you what's nice about the work phone real quick, though.
Work phone.
They give you I got a work phone. It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone 5. And at first I was like, this is kind of useless other than being contacted by my boss and, keeping client information off of my phone. But I realized that you can use the personal hotspot feature on it. You know about that?
I know that is a thing iPhones can do.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know out there, basically what you do is you make your iPhone into a Wi-Fi router.
A router.
Yeah, a router. And so like, if I'm somewhere without Wi-Fi, I can use my phone's 3G or 4G or LTE, whatever you want to call it, and create a hotspot, create a router, and then use that to connect on my computer. Now my computer's got internet. Now, of course, normally most people don't do this very often, I think, because it sucks.
It eats up your data plan.
Eats up your data plan.
You don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. It's my work data plan. I'm guessing they're unlimited, and if not, everybody here does it, and we're all using it for various reasons. And I asked around, nobody's ever had a complaint about it.
It's probably unlimited.
Probably unlimited. So I always have Wi-Fi now, basically. Mm-hmm. Just use my work phone.
That's tight.
Pretty clutch, right?
Yeah, I don't get anything at work.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little perk.
Nice.
Not too many of them, but I think cool. That one's a good one. How's your couple weeks been?
Well, 4th of July was pretty fun. I've been playing Hearthstone. I think that's why this is why it feels like not much time has passed, because I've literally been playing nothing but Hearthstone. I'm so obsessed.
Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to save it for a pick?
I mean, it was already my pick last 2 weeks. So
just talk about it now.
Holy fuck, I just can't stop playing the game. At this point, I want to recommend people don't try it because it's so addicting. You know what I mean? Like, I just love it.
What is it about Blizzard, man? They
do a good job.
They do
good work. They're like, hey, you know what? Let's make a card game.
Let's just dive in.
Let's make a card game. Yeah. I'm sure they're making so much fucking money on this game.
This game?
Well, let's not talk about the other games they make money off of. Yeah, I know.
Well, what's their MOBA?
World of Warcraft.
No, that's their like.
Heroes of the Storm.
That's the one. I've been hearing a lot about that.
That people love that too. I haven't even tried it, but I'm sure it's great.
Blizzard. But you love it, huh?
They're making a new one. They're making a Team Fortress game, like a team.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Like a first-person, like Team Fortress style game. It looks fucking amazing. They're gonna be in every genre. They're gonna make a fucking. God, I was gonna joke and say they're gonna make a board game, but they already made a board game. It's called Hearthstone. And it's making a ton of money. What are they gonna make? A NASCAR racing game? Like, they're in every genre and they're killing it.
They should make a sports game.
Game,
like basketball, but with
Blizzard basketball.
Blizzard characters.
Yeah, I don't know what they're.
It's basically what Heroes of the Storm is, right? Blizzard characters.
Yeah, not basketball though. It's League of Legends.
Yeah, but I would love it. I'd love to dunk with Diablo or something.
Is it the shoes? So yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's been awesome. I haven't been doing anything else. So
when do you play? Like, are you playing? Do you play at work ever?
I play maybe a game during lunch when I take a number 2 in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. I get a game, and the games take 5 to 10 minutes, so it's pretty easy. I played at home. I played all night. I played all day.
You just come home and grind?
Yeah, well, I watch TV and I played on my laptop or on my phone. And then at nighttime, I go upstairs, play it on the computer. It's just, you play it everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
You get this ridiculous sense of achievement every time you unlock something new. It's just...
Well, no, I definitely don't want to try it.
It's super sick. It's the best.
Wow.
And I love Magic. I love Magic the Gathering. I still play Magic now.
Yeah.
Been playing Magic for about 20 years, so that whole card game and building deck building, that really tickles me correctly, so...
Yeah, I mean, I tried it. I didn't really get into it, but then again, I was...
You didn't have any friends. Now, I played, Dash plays. Shane will eventually get it. His computer's it's just broke, so he doesn't have shit, but...
No.
Well, anyway, let's get into some fucking beef.
Some meat.
Here's the meat I want to talk to you about. This is something we talk about racism a lot lately. There's a lot of, still, even in our comments, on the podcast... Mm-hmm. And if you ever follow a racially charged argument on YouTube on Facebook, you see a lot of people there that are essentially the racism deniers. They deny the idea that racism is real, and they think that the oppressed in this case are being just crybabies, or they're isolated incidents.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, we're Russian, you and me.
Yeah.
Or Russian-ish, whatever. There are people who hate Russians. They hate them. But they wouldn't know that we're Russian unless they find out somehow. Your name's a little more obvious than mine. My name's a little bit more concealed, but whether name or like if you're somebody's waiter at a restaurant and you're a Russian guy and they fucking this one group of fucking Germans, they hate Russians really bad. They wouldn't know you're Russian. They would have no reason to assume that.
Not by just looking at me.
Yeah, that's a white guy.
I get what you're getting at.
It's a white man. And if they found out, they might treat you differently for being Russian because they had a bad experience with a Russian plumber once that ripped them off. And Russian plumbers will rip you off, so be careful.
Fair point.
So I was just thinking how different my life would be if my skin color reflected me being Russian. Like, let's say I have red skin. Not like in a circus way, but let's just say my skin was a certain color and it was normal, but that meant that I was Russian. Everybody knew that I was Russian from a glance.
It identified you as a Russian.
Yeah, if my race was identified and people had an opinion about that race, my life would be very different. And I mean, people make Russian jokes and they talk about Russians being commies and all this kind of stuff. And, I'm not like saying I was oppressed. I'm not saying that at all. But there are people, like even my dad, who is very Russian, he hates working with Russians because they're con artists a lot of the time. And that's what my dad will tell you. And, if he knows a guy's Russian right off, he won't work with that guy. He'll rather work with an American guy, So it's just, I was thinking about how my life would be different that way and how for a black person or Hispanic person, that's what their life is like. If somebody had one bad experience with a black person once, then they pass judgment on every black person ever because they can easily identify that kind of person is the person that ripped me off once, whatever happened.
Yeah.
So think about that from that perspective. If you're a different, if there's something about you.
I think the way, obviously we talk about racism in a broader sense, but specifically the way it would affect me if I was a visibly, persecuted group or ethnicity or whatever. I would always be wondering if things that were happening around me were affected by it. For example, I'm on a bus, right? There's an open seat next to me, and somebody takes a different seat further away. Even if it doesn't matter, I probably didn't want them to take that seat. My first thought might be, well, did they not take it because I'm red and I'm Russian?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of constant questioning of your surroundings and how people are reacting to you, and almost like a paranoia, in some sense.
Yeah.
I think that's what would really be, and I think people don't think about that. I think people forget that, if you know black people, Asian people, whatever, that for you it's just, they're just another race, whatever. But for them, I think a lot of people would probably view the world through a different lens, a different prism, because of how they could or might be treated.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, gay people also are essentially pretty well disguised. You can't tell someone's gay unless you find out, or they're making it obvious. But you wouldn't know. Like I could be gay, you would know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. I thought compare like the oppression they face. I mean, definitely legally, there's oppression that just was lifted recently, but
there's a secondary. There's another kind of stress though that comes with not being a visible difference, or whatever.
Because then you're afraid it might turn people away if they find out.
Yeah, or just kind of, the stress of explaining it or telling people about it or having to have it come out. Now, we as Russians, I don't care. That doesn't matter.
I had to break it to Emily's family.
Yeah. Did you have to actually break it to her family?
No, she told me.
But that is something that I think that, those people, so like gay people, they always have to, how am I going to broach the subject? How am I going to bring it up? Maybe a lot of them just don't care.
Definitely.
But it's still something that there's that extra step there then.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess my point is for this whole thing is I'm fully aware that racism is real, just because even I have seen like anti-Russian sentiments in my regular everyday life. I've heard it, I've seen it, and I'm immune to it because I can be disguised, but even that is so simple, and I see it.
That's also very different.
It's
a tier
for sure.
Yeah,
but like this is. I mean, to say that the other racism doesn't exist is complete nonsense because there's such a tame amount of it, and it certainly exists. What's a much more extreme version?
So you're saying like a fortiori, I think is the word.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like through force. Like, so if this is true, then by the force of the argument, this must definitely be true.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So if even you as a Russian are affected by
it was
this,
a very minorly oppressed, group.
Yeah.
If at all.
Then you can't even imagine what it's like.
Exactly. Then for a person who's obviously, colored differently and, visibly different, and has been a tension with the culture in America for such a long time. I mean, there's tons of racism. Well, we know that.
That's a good argument by analogy.
We know that.
Yep. I like what you're saying.
Next topic. This is something me and Emily just talked about. Emily's been,
Is it timer?
Oh, we're fine. Okay. Yeah, so we're 15.
So you and Emily?
Yeah, we she's been active on Instagram lately. Mm-hmm. Look, she's been following makeup bloggers a lot of the time. Put the makeup on and show you how to do it right. And she said that there's this. So I don't want to put words in Emily's mouth here, but she says there are girls out there now who have kind of a movement about fighting slim shaming. Because there are people who make fun of people for being too skinny. And they say, oh, she's too skinny, she needs to eat something, she needs to have a hamburger, whatever, and she must be anorexic. Kind of, they're shaming people for being too skinny. And they're saying that, that's just as bad as making fun of fat people, and they shouldn't do it, and you shouldn't make fun of people's appearance. And Emily says it's not the same thing at all. It's very different. It's, you can't compare those two different versions of making fun. You could hurt your feelings, but they're not the same. And I was thinking about this, and I tend to agree. I agree because, not that your feelings can't be hurt by any kind of, people make fun of your body, for sure. But I think when people make fun of or shame thin people, it comes from a place of jealousy and not a place of ridicule. Like, if a fat person is being made fun of, or you're too fat, you should go on a diet, whatever, they're not jealous of that person. They're making fun of that person just to make fun of them. Whereas if there's like a hot girl who's too skinny, and like, oh, she needs to have a burger. What's she doing to get that skinny? She must be cheating somehow. She must be supernatural to achieve that they are defending themselves by kind of hurling insults. Mm-hmm. I think where it comes from is different. So that's why it's a different kind of thing. Like, you should be, I guess, flattered if people are making fun of you for being too skinny. Unless you're, have a disease. Then maybe you should get help. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about it?
I think I'm kind of missing it here. I want to say an opening statement here that women as a whole are the meanest human beings of all time. The female gender is so mean and specifically to other women.
Oh yeah.
To each other.
Uh-huh.
The level of like vitriol that they fling at each other is nuts. Yep. And it's for anything. Like, women go to parties just to scope out other women and hate on them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That blows me away. And like, there's the general statement: women don't dress for men; they dress for other women because they can't get hated on. It's always a stress. Like, I'm sure you've gone out with Emily, and I've gone out with Chloe before, and she's getting all dressed up, and I'm like, we're just going to like this place next door. She's like, yeah, I can't be seen looking bad. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah. But
about this, specifically this thing, I don't think it really matters where it's coming from. I think whatever the place it comes from, it's still not good behavior. And that's ultimately what matters. Like, whether you're doing it because you want to shame them into a different type of behavior, whether you're doing it because you are jealous, or whether you're doing it because any number of reasons, you have your own issues, that doesn't make it okay. Like, is that what you're trying to get at? I'm not really sure what you're...
I guess, well, I'm saying that it's not the same thing. I would say that people who are thin, who are being made fun of for being too thin, are experiencing less emotional distress than people who are fat and experiencing ridicule for being fat.
I don't necessarily think so. I think that's just too broad a statement. I think that people have body images in their own ways for a million reasons. Whether it's you think you're too big or too small or too tall or too whatever. And it's just that anybody who feels they're too skinny. I mean, I've known people before who have been trying to gain weight. Like, that's a real thing they've done.
Sure.
And
is it hard?
For some people, it's a rare group, obviously. But like, they're like, I can eat a bunch of stuff. I've tried certain diets. I've tried protein shakes every day, and it's like I can't gain weight, and I feel weak. I feel small. So a lot of people have that issue. But if it makes them feel bad, which I'm sure it could for who knows why.
Well, it can make it feel bad, yeah.
Yeah. Then I guess I don't know. I don't think it really matters. And,
yeah.
Maybe those people are anorexic or have an eating disorder or bulimic, and that's doing way more harm to them.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have a problem, then that's definitely something. But yeah, I mean, I don't make fun of anybody for it. So yeah. I'm just thinking, if you're like, people are saying you should have a hamburger because you're too skinny. Like,
so that is a weird thing to me.
Your problems are minor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
I guess I get what you're saying. Kind of. It's a different type of problem, and it's a much rarer problem, which I think is why it seems strange. Mm-hmm. But I still think that it's not good behavior, and
yeah, you shouldn't make fun.
It has just as much room for damage to that person.
Don't make fun of people, guys.
Yeah, you know what really pisses me off?
What?
Is people who make fun of fat people at the gym.
Because they're going to the gym already,
right?
You fucking asshole.
That is the worst type of behavior.
You should be banned immediately.
If you're the gym should be just a friendly zone all around.
It should.
Like, I don't care. Like, the only thing you should ever say to another person at the gym that you don't know.
Can you wipe your seat, please?
Well, maybe, yeah. I was thinking more like helping them if they're doing something really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like if a large person is clearly struggling on machines, they're doing it wrong, be like, hey, you know, you're doing it wrong, I don't want you to hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. But like when people are like, oh, like look at this fatty going to the gym, or like,
what's he trying to do?
Yeah,
what's this fatty trying to do at the gym? He's trying to lose weight.
Good for them, yeah. And like
that's
that's why it's probably so hard for a lot of really big people to lose weight when they want to, because that first step of even getting the gym's got to be a nightmare.
Yeah,
you're the worst kind of person if you do that kind of shit.
Yeah, fuck you, you know? Jock motherfucker. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stick it up your ass.
Anybody. It's just really fucked up.
Not all jocks. Those jocks that are you go to the gym. Yuri goes to the gym. He doesn't do that.
No, I would never fucking do that. I always, whenever I see like a bigger person in the gym who's like even just walking the treadmill, I just get it like I'm like, you do what you do, you know.
He's turning it around.
Good luck.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, fucking A, man. That pisses me.
So if you've ever been made fun of for being fat, give us a like. If you've ever been made fun of for being too thin, give us a dislike, so we can get a nice little cross section of that.
Yeah.
Hey, you ever heard of the keto diet? Ketogenics? Ketogenics.
No.
Let me try to Google it here real quick.
Is that the right word? Are you saying that right?
I don't know. Yeah, ketogenic diet. Absolutely, I'm saying it right.
What's that?
Well, okay, so I'm not going to even read it. I'm going to because I don't want to. One of my not very good friends at all. Let's call him Pad Chirera.
Okay.
He came over one time against my will during 4th of July. He was like talking to his dad or something. And he was drunk at the time. He was already like 6 beers in, so maybe he just couldn't articulate what he was trying to say. But he came in and he started telling me about his diet that he's trying. It's called ketogenics. And this is his explanation of the diet. Okay, I'm like, what's that diet? Because he heard I was vegan, so he's talking about it.
Oh, so this is recent.
Recent. This is 4th of July.
Oh yeah, like just this last. Okay.
Yep. So he's sorry,
distracted.
So he says to me, so yeah, is this a guy called keto, the keto diet? You ever heard of that? I go, no, because it's a lot of bacon, a lot of fat. I'm like, are you trolling me because I told you I was vegan, so you're telling me your diet's all bacon? He's like, you're funny now. He goes, oh no, it's real. See, Eskimos up in Eskimo land, what they do is they catch a whale, and then whales have a lot of blubber and not that much meat. So all of the shamans of the tribe, they take all the meat because they're the most valuable people, and then they give all the innards and all the blubber to the peasants, and the peasants eat almost like 90% blubber and innards of a whale, and they survive just fine on that.
I'm sure they survive. That's probably a true statement.
I'm like, so that's the diet I'm trying. I'm like, well, hold on a second. On what rationale are you having the diet of Eskimo peasants who survive on a diet of blubber just because they're not all extinct?
This is how he explained it to you?
This is how he explained it to me. He's like, they can do it, so I'm going to choose to do it.
I got to look it up now.
Yeah. So I'm like, so...
How do you spell it?
Keto, like keto with Keto.
Keto, got it.
Ketogenic diet. Should pop up pretty quick. Came up for me. And then genic, like... Genic.
There it is.
So I'm like, that I found out. No, I know. Don't read that. Listen to me for a second. I know from my studies that lots of dairy is actually a cause of osteoporosis. Causes osteoporosis.
We've discussed this here in the cast.
Yeah. Because it takes calcium out of your bones, whatever. So it turns out the Eskimos have the highest instance of osteoporosis in like all human societies because they eat only protein and only blubber. I'm sorry, protein. I didn't mean dairy. I meant protein. And I said, I heard the Eskimos have really high osteoporosis rates. And he goes, yep, that's true. And there's just like a silent, I'm like, okay, so you're on that plan? I mean, what? I don't get it. When you have the option to have any food in the world, you choose to survive on the diet of Eskimo peasants. Like, what rationale? Like, what is this? Are you dumb? No, maybe I don't know. Maybe he's got it wrong or explained it wrong, but...
That's my first instinct here.
Yeah. He's got to be full of shit, right? But that was a pretty hilarious situation that happened.
That sounds like him.
Yep. Well, and they survived just fine. Okay, well...
So...
Other than the osteoporosis and not having access to anything.
So have you looked it up then?
I just looked it up to make sure it was real.
Okay, you haven't actually read about it.
No. What does it say? Anything good? Is it legit? People on that diet? He said he's lost weight on it, by the way. He's lost 6 pounds.
Here's the thing. Again, we've talked about these on all these diets. It's possible. You know, he's probably eating. If
he's no carbs. There's no carbs. That's
again, yes. Like you're not eating healthy. You're eating probably less calories. Like if I eat a giant steak, and that's my only thing I've eaten that day, you know, I've eaten maybe 600 to 700, 800 calories. I don't know. But it's really filling because it's high in protein. And, you know, the fat content probably fills you up too. If you had eaten that same amount of pasta, it would have been way more calories because carbs are higher in calories.
Or rice, forget about it.
Yeah. Now, neither way are you necessarily eating healthy. You're just eating different calorie amounts and whatever. But the point I'm getting at is when you eat carbs, you're going to eat more calories. When you get rid of carbs entirely, you can eat anything else almost, and you're probably just on natural balance going to eat less calories.
Yeah, that makes sense. Calories, you lose weight by not eating calories.
So I don't know how closely he's following his diet or what he's actually eating. But if he's watching his calories...
Well, he was 6 beers in when he saw me, so...
Well, this is July, you know, a holiday.
It's a holiday.
I'm not going to punish him for that or whatever. But then he's probably still losing weight no matter what he's eating, but his body's probably getting fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
So what's it saying there? Anything good?
It's too much reading here.
It's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
So let us know if you guys are on the ketogenic diet.
During the break, I'll get into it a little more.
Definitely leave us a comment, because I'm curious what the fuck's going on and if that's legitimate, because it sounds like an idiotic thing to do.
My boss, you know, is more or less vegetarian, almost vegan.
Really?
Not for moral reasons whatsoever.
Interesting.
All health-based. He's very much about almost conspiracy-level theories about what's in food. And
oh, good, man. I like that guy.
Yeah, I mean...
I like it. Well, he's crazy, but...
He is crazy. Even his belief that fluoride is bad for you to some extent. I mean, fluoride... The FDA has done studies where fluoride has some negative effects, but the positives so far outweigh the negatives in that case. Like, the fact that it keeps your teeth in your mouth. Like, that's a good effect of fluoride that most people need, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know much about fluoride. I don't want to even... What's your mom say about it? It's good?
It's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
All dentists will tell that. In
Yuri's
fact,
mom is...
most of America...
No, but Yuri's mom's on the payroll, though.
You're on the dentist payroll, man. Yeah, she might be. You're right.
If everybody's teeth fell out, she'd be out of a job, son.
You know, fluoride's in all drinking water, right?
I know it's on their water.
Yeah. I mean,
it was one of the episodes of Pawnee.
Yeah, right. And that's another, you know, like example.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, I don't know anything
about
fluoride.
But I'll tell you about one of his interesting theories. It kind of goes to the osteoporosis mentality. Do you want to tell me now?
Yeah.
So he doesn't... They found that... He was just telling this to another person I overheard. That, you know, people who don't eat meat have a much lower risk of arthritis when they age.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is actually true, but what he said was the reason for it is that when your body is eating meat and sinew and tendons and, you know, etc., your body eventually gets used to having that as a source, and it stops producing things that strengthen it in your own body.
Oh.
Similar to the osteoporosis argument, that your body's getting this in one way, and so it stops producing it, and it becomes a deficit. And also that you're using calories to burn it, you know, or to digest it, and it's stripping away things from the rest of your body over time. But mostly it was his argument that your body basically becomes accustomed to it and stops doing it on its own. I don't know if it makes any sense, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it doesn't, because then if you... Well, it does. I mean, you don't make your joints out of the meat you get.
Well, you can strengthen them. There's things in your...
But if you keep eating meat your whole life, then why would you get arthritis? You know what I mean? Like, if you're getting sufficient levels from external sources, unless you change your diet dramatically, then you shouldn't be getting arthritis anyway, because you're still eating all the meat you need.
Well, I think again, I'm not defending this view. I'm just like trying to understand.
Yeah.
I think what he's saying is that your body's getting these things, but they're not nutrient. Like, they're not the same thing exactly. Like, whether your body's strengthening your own, like, tendons and joints and things is one thing. Whether you're getting it from somewhere else is another. I don't really understand it.
I don't know about that one.
But I thought it was interesting. I thought you might be interested in hearing the concept.
I am. I don't know about that, but
I might actually have to look into it. I know he's the kind of guy who would actually fucking dive into this, so I don't think he's totally crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I buy it.
The more I read about, like, you know, I've been doing a lot of reading about nutrition, mostly because people are always, you know, well, where do you get your protein from? Or that protein's different. I got to do all that reading to figure it out so I can, like, say something to them. So I've been doing a lot of reading. And the more reading I do about it, the more it is a conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like, the less I trust the FDA, the less I trust the USDA, and the less I trust the government to essentially say anything about nutrition that is at all unbiased by financial, backing from the companies that are trying to kill us.
The FDA and what is that? Are they also they also do drugs? Yeah, Food and Drug Administration.
Food and Drug. USDA is.
Have you seen
Department of
Dallas Buyers Club?
No.
Basically, what that movie really comes down to is like that lobbyists and drug companies, the agenda they have to make money affects what you can get treatment, what kind of treatment you can get, what kind of things you can
absolutely,
get.
Man.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely skewed, and like, even, part of the FDA being an administration, a government body, is anything they do or say or rule on is going to take forever. There has to be thousands of studies and
you got to waste a lot of money, and people get that. That's the money that's went around. They love it.
And if you're a lobbyist, if you're one of these companies that have a say one or the other, you can fuck up that process in a million ways. So if there's a new drug coming out that has the potential to get rid of cancer, but companies that provide chemo treatment who make millions off it are not a fan of that. No, that sounds monstrous, but it's not crazy.
Oh, fuck yeah! I mean, they make a lot of money curing cancer all the time.
Yeah.
So
then this company could say, well, hold on, chemo's got a history here, but we need more studies. We're going to file for more studies. We're going to tell the public about this and let them know. More studies 10 years down the road now.
Yeah.
We're waiting on those studies.
I mean, that's one thing, too. But the other thing, I don't have the exact shit, but a lot of things like how the head of the Dairy Council is also on a chair of the USDA. So he has a serious hand in deciding what is the food plate or the food pyramid. Well, the head of the Dairy Council gets to create the food pyramid.
Oh, it's like the thing with the Comcast guy. Like
it's
Comcast
just like that.
Was on the FTC board.
Yeah, it's just the same shit. So that happens all the time.
Conflict of interest here, guys.
Yeah, so when the USDA is like, well, actually, it turns out that dairy is really good for you. You should drink 8 glasses of milk a day, says the guy who owns the fucking Dairy Council.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to go heavy, like everything's a conspiracy, the government's trying to kill us. I'm just saying that the practical way that the world works and that our government works, this shit is going to happen.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But then, so whenever I hear stuff, about, well, the FDA said it was fine, I'm like, well, I don't really give a fuck. The FDA said it was fine. You know what I mean? Because there's money in them saying it's fine.
I feel pretty confident about fluoride, but
I don't know anything about it.
I mean,
are there countries that don't have fluoride that don't have bad teeth?
Well, no, that's not true. Like Britain, that's part of the reason they all have horrible teeth.
They have bad teeth. They do not have fluoride.
I'm pretty sure. That could also be because they don't have access to dental care.
Do they really have bad teeth in Britain?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a thing, but it's also a thing to call Napoleon short, but it turns out that's not true.
Yeah. That's,
so, is it just a joke, or do they really have bad teeth there?
A little bit of both. I think the joke is taken too far, but they really do have worse teeth. It's not like not everybody's teeth are jutting out of their face all fucked up.
I wonder why.
It's because they don't have, I don't think dental care is covered by a lot of their insurances.
I thought really.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's something to do, maybe one of our readers can talk about. It's something to do with the fact that they don't have as much access to dental care as like America does.
Interesting, because I thought they were one of those countries with the good healthcare, but not dental.
Not dental, I don't believe. At least that's how it's been in the past. I don't know if it's changed, but
I'm curious about fluoride. I feel like the European Union is pretty progressive with health stuff. So if they're much more serious about.
They don't have fluoride in their water?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But I'm saying if they do, I'm more likely to trust the European Union than the FDA. Is I guess what I'm saying.
Well, why is that?
Because they make better, they're better about ethical work than Americans are. They're less capitalistic and less profit driven. I feel that way. I feel that way. Yeah. I feel that way because they pass a lot more animal welfare laws over there than we do here, and they ban ingredients a lot of the ingredients that we have fights about, like that yoga mat powder in bread and Subway. That's illegal in the European Union. The product that they put in Gatorade here that was like an flame retardant. That's illegal in the European Union. You know what I mean? Like they're much more conservative with what you can put in food and how you treat equipment and stuff like that. So I think if they're okay with fluoride, then I think I support it.
All right. Well.
And there's a lot of countries there. Like the European Union is many different countries that all have a different stake in it, whereas America is just kind of like.
Well, we're one country, but we're also a compendium of states. That's the United States of America.
But we all have. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
I just feel better about.
That's fair.
A lot of countries that all have a say in it, that all decide I think this is
your
good.
Your European biases are clearly playing into this, but I totally understand. I mean, you are European.
That I am.
Yeah.
Although Russia, not very progressive.
No, but you're from Ukraine.
I am from Ukraine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break.
We'll take a break.
Did a little quick research on ketogenic diets.
Tell us about it.
So obviously Chad did the worst job of explaining it. I mean,
you mean pad?
Pad. But I guess the idea is similar to Atkins, but it's different in that the whole concept is about the ratios of how you eat fat and protein and carbs. And what it's supposed to do is basically trick your body into producing fat and digesting fat a different way. So it tricks your liver somehow into how it deals with fatty acids. So by consuming foods in a very specific ratio, you make your body burn fat quicker, it seems like. But again, it looks like there's almost no carbs in the diet, less calories, etc., etc. Now, what effect this might have on the rest of your body, for example, your cholesterol, your heart, whatever, if you're just eating a lot of fat, that's another issue. But I get that there's an actual science behind the diet that's very specific now, versus just you eat fat and you survive and lose weight.
You can survive eating only Twinkies, so that's the diet that I choose.
So that makes a lot more sense. That's kind of interesting. I don't know how healthy it is. I guess originally it was...
Use that coaster for me.
I guess originally it was a way for doctors to fight epilepsy, like in the 20s. That's what the diet was based on.
How did they figure that shit out?
No idea, man.
Like, you have epilepsy, you try this diet. Like, what the hell?
But then epileptic medicines came about, and
it's fucking madness over there.
It is pretty madness. Pretty mad.
All right, let's talk about some Shenmue Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, so this is a pretty old topic we had here, but I want to talk about Kickstarter in general.
Let's talk about that.
So the reason this came up in my head originally, and this is something that's come up for a lot of reasons for different movies, music, whatever. But do you know the game Shenmue? So the game Shenmue was originally on the Dreamcast, and there was a sequel, I think, also on the Dreamcast.
It was an Xbox somehow.
Maybe maybe a port or something. I don't know. So Shenmue is some game. I never played it. I don't know much about it.
It's an RPG.
Yeah, like you're some dude, you walk around in like China. It's a very Chinese game, like very in the heart of China, made by Chinese developers, and it had a really rabid fan base because it was very like intense. I
never played it.
Yeah, me either. So whatever. The point is they loved it, but then the Shenmue 2 came out like 11 years ago or 14 years ago, like a long fucking time ago, and since then like nobody's heard shit about it.
Yeah.
And at E3 a couple weeks ago, you know what E3 is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't, it's like a big video game show. It's called the Entertainment Electronics Expo. And there's always big video game announcements by all the major
big deal
people.
It's a big deal.
So at Sony PlayStation's event, the Shenmue creator came out. He goes, hey everybody, like we're coming out with Shenmue 3, but it's on Kickstarter and like you can fund it. $2 million is our goal. By the next morning, it had reached their goal of $2 million.
Yeah.
Fastest thing to ever raise $2 million. Rabid fan base. But what was later kind of discovered about it was that $2 million is obviously not the cost of the game. If you know anything about making games are expensive as fuck. Yeah. And this game's basically going to be like GTA levels, and GTA costs $1 billion to make. Right.
Those games.
Yeah. So $2 million is not what it costs to make. So why $2 million? And here's what it really is it's the publisher doesn't want to take a gamble on this game unless they know that there's going to be enough fans to buy it, right? So they tell the company, do a Kickstarter, put out feelers, and we'll decide based on your Kickstarter if you hit your Kickstarter goal. Now, obviously, this is not how Kickstarter was designed to function. It's not what the original intent was. The original intent is indie developers or people who wouldn't get funding other ways will crowdfund their project and make it real through the funding of other people. Now, these publishers, however, they don't need that. They could just say, well, we'll fund you otherwise. So you're taking money and taking time away from all these little small indie guys who they now have nowhere to go because Kickstarter has become this other thing, this whole monster of video game companies and movie companies testing out whether the game or the movie has enough popularity behind it. Now, my question is that a bad thing? There's a million people out there, bunch of millions who wouldn't have Shenmue 3 without this, probably.
Yeah, yep. Actually, funny story, but I was looking at Kickstarter as well, and I saw it was a Kickstarter by the guy who made Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is the best Castlevania game on PlayStation, one with Alucard where you're through the castle.
Yeah.
He's making a sequel of that to that, or a game that's just like that, but not Castlevania, because like this Capcom still owns it, whatever. So he's making a game that's identical to that style of game, 16-bit graphics, the whole thing. And he's doing a Kickstarter. And he's a very famous person. He's the creator of Castlevania, so fucking everybody loves it. They love Castlevania. It's got a ton of fans. So it blew its goal apart. But the Kickstarter page itself, like the Kickstarter page, he must have a team of 10 working on that page constantly. Like the Kickstarter campaign is so high budget that a regular person wouldn't be able to even compete with the Kickstarter campaign. The momentum is insane. Like he's got so much graphics on it and so much shit, and like he's doing contests and he's got people managing all this stuff, and it's insane.
There's a marketing team behind it.
Absolutely a marketing team, a big one. He's paying them. Like I think the Kickstarter budget is paying the marketing team to make the Kickstarter happen. You know what I mean? And it's So a question is it a bad thing? Does it really take away from the indie developers? That's the question. You're saying because if a person gets tricked into falling for the Shenmue campaign, then that's money they will not spend on the Double Dragon indie game?
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So there's limited funds that are being given to Kickstarter, and now they're being diverted from the indies to the same fucking budget companies people hate.
And to some sense, I think it's undeniable. Now, whether that's, they would actually, there's some argument there, but if there's so much money people are going to spend on a certain thing, and now they're spending it, here instead of there, well,
yeah, I mean, from the perspective of,
but also just I think the idea is, do they belong here? Is this where they should be? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking advantage of the platform in a way that makes sense. If they didn't have something like this, then they probably would just continue not making Shenmue 3 in the same way they have not been making it for the last 10 years.
And I think that's ultimately where I fall. Is I like it.
Yeah.
This all kind of the first time I became aware of this issue was Zach Braff. You know who he is?
No.
He made Garden State. He was the guy on Scrubs, JD on Scrubs.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's a famous guy. I mean, he makes millions off Scrubs. It's still in syndication. He gets paid every time it airs. And he wanted to make some movie, and so he went to Kickstarter and raised a bunch of money to make this movie that he wanted. And then, I don't know whether that was enough to get people mad or whether there was some story going on or what, but people were furious. They're like, "You're Zach Braff. You want to make a movie? Go to the movie studio. What are you doing coming to us for? Like, why would you use Kickstarter?" And this is like early, years ago, when Kickstarter was still pretty fresh and like truly an indie crowdfunding. And Zach Braff replied, I think in a very interesting way, very like openly and intellectually. And he just said, "Hey, like, let me tell you what's up. Yeah, I probably could have funded this with studio. I think studios were interested, and I am getting some money even, I think, from studios. But if I had taken studio money entirely, there would have been limitations on what I could have created in this film because the studio is financing it.
Yeah, it's not his movie anymore. It's
exactly, yeah.
So, yeah.
And on top of that, it's like the studio didn't even know who would buy into it. There wasn't like this thing with Shenmue here. But I also his statement about creative, what's what I'm looking for? Creative license, whatever you want, Without the Kickstarter, he would have been more beholden to the
Yeah,
studio.
now he's just it's just a guy making a movie, rather than Universal Pictures making a movie that they are, and once they put stock into it, they need to make a certain amount of money. They're like, well, we need more explosions. We need to make Transformers 4 because we need to make money. Where he just wants to make a good movie.
Yeah, and the older I get, the more I'm aware of the studio meddling in films, in big pictures. When you hear about directors who are like, they took it out from under me, they wanted this and they had to have it.
Yep.
So I like it. I think it's a good thing. I get the idea that now there are some indie artists out there who might be losing out a bit, and it's taking the platform away from what it was originally.
Maybe.
But I think it's still a good use, and it's still a good use for the public.
A good, I mean, the bottom line is it'll create better content that people want to see. It's not Transformers 4. It's going to be, Shenmue 3.
Now, there's still room for abuse in it. Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know where that is yet.
Well, I'm afraid that now all publishers will start saying, well, we won't ever finance a game, any kind of interesting game.
Sounds great.
They won't take risks.
That sounds fucking awesome to me, though.
Yeah, but then we miss out for other reasons. Games that publishers previously would have said, okay, well, yeah, let's give this a try, let's take a risk. Now they're just saying, well, we'll just go to Kickstarter or something.
I think, I think that the video game industry has suffered from a lack of creativity for a long time. A long time. There was a stint during the when Gears of War 2 came out. During that era, every game I bought that I spent a lot of money on, $60 a game, I fucking hated. And I wanted to return.
That's what I think
It was like a belt. It was like this 2-year period where Gears of War 2, I fucking hated it. Halo, whatever was then, I hated it. Fucking Assassin's Creed 2, everything fucking 2 was a piece of shit.
Everything's a sequel.
Everything's a sequel, and they're all bad. Yeah. Because no one's like, whoa, Fable, when it first came out, the game was fucking cool. I love Fable. The first Fable. It was amazing. Assassin's Creed, awesome game. And then they're like, oh, let's make fucking Assassin's Creed. Print and copy. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I think Assassin's... Whatever. Not going to get into that. The point is there's a lack of imagination. It was all sequels. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, we're in that a little bit too, but it's all remakes. Next-gen remakes, Everything's being remade from the PS3 to the PS4, from the Xbox to the Xbox One. Yeah. There's no new games really coming out. Very few.
Yeah.
So you're saying this will create more risks, you think?
I'm saying that this will create more diversity because now they can, who does Ubisoft, they make Assassin's Creed. Let's say they launch 3 Kickstarters simultaneously. Assassin's Creed 13, some random game that's totally unrelated, like some fucking game where you're a monster destroying a city, and then some other game which is like some fucking turn-based strategy game. And then people can look at it and go, well, okay, Ubisoft is a company that makes good, high-budget games. Do we want to see Assassin's Creed 13, which will surely sell pretty good?
Yeah.
Or would we rather see this company put their metal behind this monster game? And then,
the people have spoken.
Who knew?
Vote with your dollars.
Yeah, who knew that people wanted this fucking monster game? And Ubisoft goes, okay, well, finally, we figured out what people want. We don't make another fucking clone.
I like it. I think it's a good thing. I love it. I don't see a lot of problems with it right now.
And things will go viral still.
Yeah.
That'll still happen. So people will go, this game is really cool, and they tell their friends, and their friends who care about that genre will maybe like it and spread it, and you're just going to get more stuff going.
But I think ultimately it comes down to that this still would not have existed without this. Shenmue would not exist without Kickstarter.
Exactly.
Now, this was also a couple weeks ago, but related to Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Uwe Boll is? Uwe Boll.
Yeah, he makes bad movies all day.
He makes really bad movies.
He makes bad movies like it's his job.
He made a lot of video game movie adaptations.
Blood Rain.
Yeah, Blood Rain, Postal, Rampage or something, all these really shitty movies.
He does very well.
House the Dead.
He does very well.
Well, he was doing fine.
Yeah.
And the weirdest part about his movies is they're horrible. They're universally horrible.
Horrible.
But they always get good, at least one really good actor in it. I think he had some movie.
Blood Rain had fucking Sir Kingsley.
Yeah, there you go. Great example.
What the hell's that guy doing in there?
And who was the woman? Wasn't the woman somebody famous?
I don't even know.
Well, okay, there's another one I know he did that had Jason Statham in it and Jeremy Irons, I think, or something. Maybe I'm thinking of that Dungeons and Dragons movie. But he had one movie I know had one of those guys. These really fucking bad movies. Anyway. But so he went to Kickstarter to get this new movie going. He's tried crowdfunding it a couple times.
A couple times?
Yeah, in different places. Uh-huh. And I guess nobody went for it. And so he went on YouTube and recorded this rant. And I'm gonna play it. It's under 2 minutes, but it's my favorite. It's so good.
Okay.
We just gotta hear it. This is Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll telling the.
So here's Uwe Boll, and
this is him telling everybody what he thinks of them not funding his movie.
Okay. Oh my god, what a guy.
So here's Uwe Boll, and that is the last update. We have only 4 days to do with the Rampage campaign. And that was my third campaign now, after Postal 2 failed, after Indiegogo for Rampage 3 failed, and now Kickstarter failed too. And basically my message is, fuck yourself. Because that is so fucking absurd. What retarded amateur idiots collecting money on that absurd website, We get approached by people like Kickstarter. Do it. And you have hundreds, thousands of people contacting you to make a fast dime to say, I can push your campaign and I get 10% of whatever you collect. And it's all fucking bullshit, and I will never do it in my life again. For me, crowdfunding is absolutely dead. Goodbye. And it looks like nobody gives a shit about Rampage 3, so maybe I shouldn't do it then. I have enough money to play golf till I'm dead. And I was willing to do all of this as the campaigns to make any money. I want to do Rampage 3 because it is an important movie, but it looks like you're easier giving $600,000 if you make a movie about some retarded wizard in the forest or for another whatever Marvel Avengers bullshit dirt. So goodbye and goodbye Hollywood.
Retarded wizard in a forest movie?
That line kills me. Some retarded wizard in the forest.
Who's he mad at? He's mad at Kickstarter?
Yeah, it sounds like he's mad at the people for not funding it.
He says fuck yourselves to who? The amateurs people?
Yeah, like partially people, partially Kickstarter, I guess,
for somehow lying
reached out to him. But then he did say something that I just picked up on. I guess there are literally companies who will go to you and say,
we will manage your Kickstarter for you.
Give us 10%.
We'll take 10%.
Yeah, it's kind of brilliant, actually.
Yeah, great idea.
But man, he's great. He's so funny. He actually has a couple other videos. He does YouTube videos a lot, apparently.
God.
And the stuff he says, man. Some retarded wizard in the forest.
That's insane. I mean,
Some
what a piece of shit that guy is.
Yeah, man. To think so highly of himself and his movie. It's an important movie.
Rampage 3 is an important film. What? Jesus.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. What an asshole.
Yeah, so...
What a guy.
Kickstarter, man. I guess...
You know what?
Maybe it does work.
What is a problem with Kickstarter, though? I'll tell you what it is.
What?
Is looking at that Castlevania Kickstarter I was telling you about. It looks like there's a marketing team.
Yeah.
Like, that Kickstarter is much more likely to get my money than an amateur Kickstarter.
Well, that's literally exactly what we were talking about earlier.
Well, it kind of is. Yeah. I'm saying the quality of the actual Kickstarter campaign is going to... Not just that the companies are doing it, but the campaign budget will outdo the indies so much.
But I would argue that they go hand in hand. If you're a company or a big thing doing a Kickstarter, you're automatically probably going to have a nicer page.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. So now I'm thinking about it, going, yeah, I mean, that definitely will take the spotlight away from an indie who can't make a $10,000 YouTube video to demonstrate the product, who can't have a team doing social media about their Kickstarter, answering these questions, because they're too busy developing the fucking game.
That's exactly the point.
So yeah, that is a little dangerous.
And you're taking money away in the sense that you're also putting into like weird other things like advertising or
they can afford to advertise their Kickstarter page, where indies can't do that.
Again, still discussing this. I like it for now, but that if everybody's doing this, it pushes out all these smaller ones to the fringes, I think, and that's where.
How do you stop it though? You can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they can't prohibit because then you just go into skies.
Eventually, you'll almost need to have like an indie page or indie tab in the.
Well, Indiegogo is the Kickstarter of indies.
There you go. I mean, things might push over to there. So now when Kickstarter's not the only game around now. There's GoFundMe and crowdfund and
Indiegogo.
Yeah, so
you can even say Patreon, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What do we got for topics here? Oh, you know what? Let's talk about Uber. We missed it last week. We talked about taxis for a second.
Did we? Are you sure?
Am I sure that we didn't talk about it?
Yeah. I don't remember what we talked about.
I'm sure we didn't. Okay. We didn't mention taxis for a second, and then we said we'll talk about it later because it was on the topic list, but we never got to it.
Okay.
But a long time ago now, in France, there's some serious rioting going on about taxi cab drivers and Uber, the Uber, company.
Yeah.
So basically what's going on is the cabbies are having I don't know if it's over now, but back 3 weeks ago, they were having a full-on riot in France. And they were like burning tires in the middle of the roads, stopping traffic completely, like burning tires. They were smashing people's cars. They were just straight up absolutely rioting because they wanted the government to pass some kind of a law that made Uber illegal, or essentially made Uber follow the same regulations taxi cab drivers had to.
This was scary. This was more than rioting. I mean, they were targeting and attacking Uber drivers.
They were
pulling them out of the cars.
Yep. And people who weren't Uber drivers that were just like, they suspected them of being Uber drivers. They were throwing cinder blocks off overpasses into cars while they were driving by. Like, seriously, terrorist bullshit.
Yeah, really weird.
And I don't know what happened. And I hope that France made the right decision and just arrested all these people and told them to go fuck themselves, rather than buckling to absolute terrorist demands and just making a better service, banned from the country, essentially.
Uber's having a lot of problems, man.
Well, they are having a lot of problems, and this is in America, it's the cab drivers, not the drivers. I don't want to blame the drivers unless they're throwing cinder blocks at overpasses. Then yes. But I'm blaming like the union, okay, the foundation of cabbies who they have a lot of money in it, and they have a lot of lobbying power, and they're putting pressure on political people to essentially, what we were talking about in terms of cancer research or cancer pills, they're cock blocking a better solution to transportation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they're the profitable force right now.
What do you need Uber for? We're doing a great job doing a bad job.
Exactly. We are doing it. We've been doing it for a long time, doing a good job. These guys, they're not licensed. They're not this and that. You can't let them just come in here and put us all out of a job. Well, at what point do you let someone put you out of a job if they do a better job than you? And this is the union problem. You know what I mean? Like, you could be a shitty union worker and you can't have a better worker replace you because it's a fucking lockup.
I get the idea for unions, and I don't hate them entirely. There is a benefit to them to some extent, but in a lot of ways, this is the problem. It's just like, the workers at my last job I talk about. When I had to meet with my boss and she had to tell me, here are the people who are bad at their jobs you got to deal with. Because you can't get rid of them. You can't do anything about them.
Yep.
And it's like, here we fucking go. The unions all together and just saying, fuck Uber.
Yeah.
Well, Uber's doing a great job.
Uber's doing a great job. And there's not a single person who I know who will not say every cab experience I've had has been awful and every Uber experience has been good. And the cabbie will say, well, how do you know they're not killers? They don't take a test. They don't have a license. Like, who cares? They're doing a better fucking job without any of that shit. And all the licensing is all diarrhea. That's all invented bullshit to keep companies like Uber out of business because they need a license. A license is a piece of fucking paper. Wipe your ass with a license. You know what I mean? Let a fucking guy drive me around. I don't give a shit.
I feel like if that was... Here's the thing. The media would love a story about Uber driver kills...
Serial killer.
Yeah, right? I haven't heard it.
No such story.
I'm sure maybe it's happened.
Maybe.
It's possible.
There's definitely cab stories like that.
Exactly. If you're a fucking killer...
You get a cabbie license then.
You get a cabbie license.
And then go fucking kill people,
Or if your whole game is like, I'm going to get people in my cab with Uber... I'm sure you've got other fucking ways to kidnap and kill people.
Right, exactly.
Being
a murderous cabbie driver, like, okay, you'll be a murderer.
Yeah.
Whether you're a cab driver, a bus driver, a fucking, street sweeper, whatever.
No murder. Nobody who's out there who's like planning and committing a murder is like, oh yeah, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for.
Finally, my way in.
Now again, it might happen.
Could.
That will be the outlet.
But that doesn't mean we need fucking this ridiculous license foundation, and we need to stop Uber from getting involved. I used Uber when I was in California.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just great. I used it here too.
Yeah, I use it all the time. I used it here. It saved me so much money.
You
know what the other thing is?
What?
It's great for the drivers, for the people.
Yeah.
Because
they don't need a license fees. They don't need
you rent the cab, the license fees, you pay the dispatch all this money for all this bullshit to rent their garage. When I was doing my last job, I saw these people come in like, here's all the money I have to pay to drive a cab. And then on top of that, here's what I actually take in, but I have to pay half my my money just to do this. Well, now Uber takes some.
Yeah. Why don't all the cab drivers quit and just become Uber drivers? That's what
a lot of them are. That's the other problem.
But that's what, instead of fucking rioting and putting your, rioting isn't a safe practice. I mean, you're throwing cinder blocks, whatever, but then if somebody wants to fucking fight you for it, throw a cinder block back, you get killed. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of things, you're talking about unions, they've got benefits, they've got, pensions, a lot of times. If you're
because they're benefits okay.
Yeah, if you're a taxi driver who's been there, part of the company,
okay,
and you're not getting just shit on like something, you were a cab driver.
So you move down, become an Uber driver in that case.
Kind of, yeah. You're an independent contractor with all the bullshit that goes with that.
Well, they should still arrest them all and put them in fucking jail because...
Well, yeah, if you're attacking people...
Well, I would say burning tires in the street is a fucking crime as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you did it here, you'd be arrested.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I don't... There's no argument there.
So it's fucking... This is nonsense. So yeah, this is happening in France. Basically, my message is, fuck all cab drivers and all companies.
You know what Uber was valued at recently?
Let me guess.
Go on.
8 billion.
41 billion.
Oh, way off.
Wow, yeah, right? They were valued high, and now they're talking about trying to find ways to live up to that value because it's such a high estimation. Doing things like Uber Fresh, where it's an Uber service that gets you groceries and things like that.
Great idea.
Expand the whole Uber concept, baby.
Look, all the bad industries we have fucking in America clogging up our fucking arteries, the cholesterol, they need to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Technology is now...
We've talked about this, but...
We have. I mean, it's the same shit over and over
I was going to say, interesting to see the application of an Uber-like business in other entities that could be improved by having another company come in and just do it right.
Like police.
Yeah.
Uber police.
You
call 911, the nearest person just comes over and helps.
Well, they, private military people. Like you see in movies all the time. I mean, obviously that there's a lot of risks with that, but the idea of okay, so while we're talking about governments and shit, talk about gun control a little bit.
I was I was pretty
Second Amendment, Constitution.
Yeah,
I'm good.
That's the one. I was fairly anti banning guns, just because I'm like, what's the big deal? People should be able to have a gun if they want one. They can't kill anybody because that's a crime. But if they want to have, like, what's a deadly weapon? Everything in my house can be a deadly weapon. So if my intent's to kill, I'll do it whether I have a gun or not. That was my mentality. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I changed my mentality.
I won't jump on you for it then. Go ahead.
Okay. I changed my mentality a little bit because, well, obviously guns are a much better murder weapon than a hammer or that pen. And if you're an irresponsible person and you want to go shoot up your school and you have a gun in your house, it makes that really easy to make a really bad decision while you're in a moment of crisis to go shoot up your school. Whereas if you had to go get a gun or you couldn't get a gun, that would make that whole school shooting thing much more difficult. Now, if you're really an organized criminal and you're getting guns off the black market, okay, you can't stop that.
But that's not who you're trying to stop here.
Yeah, the average kid who's going to get his dad's shotgun and go fucking kill somebody at a bus stop, that's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that it's and for organized crime syndicates, but like even for your common gangbanger, it will make it a lot harder to get a gun.
Yeah.
A lot harder. Can they still get one? Probably. I don't know how to fucking do it. But bottom line is, I don't know how to fucking... Right now, if I want a gun tomorrow, I can go get one. If I wanted to, like, you piss me off so bad I want to kill you, I can get a gun and kill you tomorrow.
After the 3-day waiting period.
We go 3 days.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But if there were no guns, then I couldn't do that, and it would give me a lot more time to simmer down. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think there's so many reasons to at least limit, like ban, at the very least banning automatic weapons and semi-automatic weapons. Those are the ones that do. You know what that is, right?
They're
like you just hold the trigger and it
shoot
shoots
a lot of bullets.
Yeah, exactly. That's a baby step. There's just so many arguments, but like even the one I hate being thrown against it though is the Second Amendment.
It is an amendment, therefore we can never change an amendment.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the Second Amendment was passed during the time of the Revolution.
Militia.
In direct response to the revolution, to what happened, right. British oppression.
Exactly.
Because they were thinking, well, if we ever have to overthrow the government, we
need guns.
Well, now, okay, there's so many things that are stupid about this nowadays. But like, nobody's out there being like, I gotta have a gun just in case I gotta overthrow the government.
Exactly. And that's this. So people, this is the thing. Oh, I need it for self-defense. Why do you need a gun? Guns are made to kill people. Why do you need a gun? Yeah. Well, self-defense.
What if somebody comes with a gun? Well, they probably wouldn't have a gun if you didn't have a gun.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like, what if your kids get the gun and shoots someone? Well, I keep it in a safe. I'm like, well, if you keep it in a safe, how are you going to fucking get it if you need it for self-defense?
I always wondered that. Like, if I'm in my house, like, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I should go to the kitchen, like, get a knife out. If I'm, you get those like weird paranoid. Yeah. Well, I'm like, well, fuck. Then I got to go to the kitchen and get a knife. That's all the way like downstairs.
My dad's got a gun. Yeah. Keeps it in a safe. Yeah. My dad's got a Beretta. He loves it. Shoots it at the firing range. He does it for fun.
You're panicked. You're trying to.
Yeah. So I can imagine like, well, my dad's like, well, I need it for defense. I'm like, well, you don't carry it with you. Right? Yeah. You could carry it with you, in which case defense makes sense. Mm-hmm. But it's like if you keep it in a safe, then it's not for defense, so it doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you going to... Oh, someone's in the house.
It's not... Go ahead.
Oh, well, you go ahead.
It's not that there aren't maybe occasions where a gun might actually be... you're out and you've seen... There have been stories where like a guy who's concealed carry weapon legally pulls a weapon out. I think there was one in the mall somewhere where there was like a shooter or somebody, and he pulled it out and like stopped the guy. Oh. Like, awesome story. Cool.
Sure, okay.
But for every one of those, there's 20...
Like, oh, I had a gun, so I shot a guy because I thought he was threatening my life.
Yeah.
Like that Michael Brown incident.
Yeah, like all kinds of shit like that, There's that. But then also, like, people are like, well, it's my hobby. I shoot on the range. I just don't think you should ever put your hobby like that over the risk of somebody's life.
Sure. Or I mean, if that's the case, then they should just make getting a gun really hard.
And here's another argument here is, well, how do you know it's going to work? Here's a great example. Australia. How do you know getting rid of guns?
Well, in England, right?
I don't know about... Well, I know the cops don't...
Even cops don't have guns. Yeah, nobody can have guns then. I mean, they can't let cops be...
But in Australia, I know.
Okay.
This is on the Daily Show. It's like a three-day report.
Okay.
A while ago. They banned guns there. It was a whole... They passed legislation...
They're all criminals in Australia, by the way.
Yeah, that's how it all started, baby.
So there you go.
But since they did that, I'm pretty sure about this. If it's not right, it's pretty close. The amount of mass shootings they had went down to zero.
From what?
From like a pretty high number, like considerable.
To zero.
That's zero.
That's a great improvement.
Less than like 1 or 2, I think maybe. When the report was, I'm pretty sure it was 0. In America, we've had like 40 in the last like 10 years.
That seems low even to me.
That might be low. I'm throwing out numbers here to give just perspective, but it worked. Like they got rid of guns, mass shootings went down.
Well, yeah. I mean, every school shooting, I will say 95% of school shootings would not have happened if there wasn't a gun in the house.
That's the argument.
Where's a fucking 12-year-old going to get a fucking gun from? If you can't get it from his dad, he can't. What the fuck's he gonna do?
I don't know any black markets.
Exactly. How do you call a black market to do it? But the whole self-defense argument, the whole Second Amendment thing is so ridiculous. Like, look, if the American government decided to oppress the population, like militarily, your fucking Beretta isn't gonna help stop the biggest army in the fucking world 20 times over. Okay,
that's another good way of putting it.
I mean, we're fucking like the amount of army America has is ridiculous. Okay. We're number one. Number two is like China, and they're fucking. I mean, they're huge. But like below China and America, like nobody's even close. So what's the population of the United States with their Berettas and shotguns are going to do nothing? It's the fucking drones and tanks and fucking jets we're going to have. Oh, well, we don't want Hillary Clinton to get crazy, fucking take us all over, put us all in prison. What the fuck are you worried about?
That one always makes me laugh.
This whole like American government going haywire and taking everything over is like.
This article is dated June 26, 2015.
Okay.
Australia hasn't had a mass shooting since 1996.
When did they ban guns?
Yep.
They banned guns in 1996? Or like 2 years ago?
Yeah. Tough firearm restrictions passed in Australia in 1996.
Ahead of the game. Yeah. And then since they did that, they had 0 shootings.
0.
That's pretty good evidence.
No, obviously we're a different culture, a lot of differences.
10 years
bigger population.
Well, yeah, sure.
But they had a lot before that.
Well, if they had a lot went down to 0, I think that's a pretty good indication that your hobby's not worth it.
Yeah,
bro, Mr. Warhawk, I gotta have my gun.
It started because there was a mass shooting. That's what caused the legislation to come out.
How many mass shootings do we have to have in America before we realize that guns are a problem?
This wasn't even a topic list, but this came up. So yeah, man, that's the argument. I think it's a great argument. I don't think there's really much for it.
We do a lot of stupid things here.
Yeah. And, the cause of the shootings, the mental health issues that are behind a lot of these shooters, that's a separate issue. We treat mental health in a weird way here in America. So you're saying, well, these people would still do something disturbed. Possibly, yes. That's a whole underlying problem. But I'm not going to give somebody the gun to do it better. Mm-hmm. That's my argument here.
Yeah, well, it's like if you give a monkey a gun and the monkey shoots someone, do you blame the monkey?
Yeah.
I mean, the monkey is a monkey, but if you give a monkey a room full of guns and a room full of cotton candy, one way is going to shoot someone.
I'm getting some numbers here.
What do you got?
In the 18 years up to and including 1996 in Australia, 13 mass shootings. And then after that, 0.
0. So, yeah, that's...
Also interesting, that's something I didn't think about. Gun suicides declined. There were 8,800 gun suicides in Australia before the laws. In the 7 years since... 1,726.
500 less?
No. 8,000 less or 7,000 less.
Oh.
8,850 versus 1,700.
So did those suicides shift to different methods of suicide?
Maybe they did. That's another question to ask. But it's probably harder. And if it's harder, maybe it's something that just...
It is easy to pull a trigger.
Right?
It's harder to do something else.
You know what I'm trying to say here. Yeah. If you've got a gun there and you're like, well, I'm going to pull the trigger, maybe you don't do it if you don't have a gun.
Exactly. You have a loaded gun, it's easy to do it. If you have to plan it, decide what to do, and it might hurt, whatever, I get it.
So
I'm less concerned about preventing suicide, though, I guess.
Yeah, but still, one more argument.
I guess I just don't. Well, yeah, that's there you go. What do you think about gun control? If you support gun control, give us a dislike. And if you do support it, give us a like.
Yeah, if you support gun control, give us a like.
And if you don't support it, give us a dislike.
There you go.
And then we'll use that.
Agree or die.
But, agree or die. If you supported it, click like.
Agree or dislike.
If you don't support it, then...
Can you just change this to agree or dislike?
Agree or dislike. No. That's a little too tame for me. All right, well, I don't have any picks, Yuri. I've only been doing Hearthstone.
Oh, I got mad picks.
Yeah, so... You better tell us your picks.
So we're going to picks?
Yeah, we're going to pick.
Okay. What do I got here? So my first pick is Batman Arkham Knight. I've been playing it since my B-Day when it came out. I think I talked about it at our last cast, but I hadn't really dug in.
These Batman games are real good.
I love them, man.
I haven't played them, but Shane loves them. You love them. Everybody loves them.
If you like that kind of gameplay, if you like that third person, action game. It's just the best, man. Nothing makes you feel like Batman like this game. Even Chloe was watching me and she's like, "Oh wow, this looks so cool." It's like I don't feel like I see games like this very
Chloe often watches you play games.
Yeah. Well, because I'm playing.
I don't get that in my life.
Well, because we have a small apartment, two bedrooms in our living room, and you go between them.
Yep.
So like, she doesn't like sit down and watch me typically.
She's doing something.
Yeah, she's doing something, or she'll walk by and see it, and that's what I'm commenting on mostly. The only game she's ever like watched me play quite a bit of was the Last of Us.
That movie-like.
That very movie-like. Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah.
But the gameplay is the best of the series, I think. It's continually expanded from like a small little island to like a bigger area. So now you've got a whole city, like with boroughs, and so you're gliding around the whole city, and that's how you move around. Is you grapple something, you shoot up in the sky, you glide with your cape, you can dive and kind of like a bird,
like Super Mario World.
Yeah, kind of that same idea exactly. So that's how you get around. But now you've also got a Batmobile. And so what you do is you hit a button, and the Batmobile comes from anywhere and lands under you, and you hop right in, and now you can drive around with it.
Sick.
And it's also like a tank, which is really cool, and you do some stuff.
Wow.
They forced a little bit into the main game. That's a little too much. But I don't really care too much about that. I'm fine with that. I like the gameplay. The gameplay is so fun. And you got all these gadgets, you got all these cool things. The game is broken up into kind of 3 different gameplay styles. You've got the one where you're fighting. The combat's amazing. It's all like counter presses. So somebody coming at you, press the counter button. Then you can do a hit button. Then you've got a stun and a jump.
Okay.
And there's all these gadgets that go into that and different ways to fight and different combos and finishers. Then there's the stealth sections where you're just kind of creeping around and taking guys by stealth, which is super fun. And then there's the Batmobile sections. Just an unbelievably good time. You just feel so powerful, and it looks beautiful. Now, the other things I've enjoyed the most about the other games, the stories were always really cool. Batman always has the coolest stories. He's got the coolest villains. Fact.
They're cool, yeah.
They're cool as fuck. This story is a bit of a downer.
Who's the villain?
Well, one villain's Scarecrow. Scarecrow from the movies and in general. The fear gas and stuff. He's okay, I guess. I think his whole, bit... I'm almost at the end, I should say. I haven't quite finished it. I'm really close. His whole bit, I'm not, in love with. And the actor who plays him is John... I think his name is John Noble. He's been in a lot of other stuff. He's been in Fringe. He's been on... the show Sleepy Hollow.
In the game, that's voice actor?
Yeah, the voice actor who does his voice. I don't feel he fits him. He's like an older actor with an older voice, and he sounds too regal. It's like if Sir Patrick Stewart was the Scarecrow, kind of, is how I'm picturing. It doesn't quite sound right to me. He's got to be a little more creepy. But then there's another villain called the Arkham Knight, who's the namesake of the game. Now, I don't want to reveal who he is, because that's part of the story.
Yeah.
But I will say that one of my favorite Batman stories of all times, a really cool bit of Batman lore, is the basis for it. But they fuck up the story that's already there and do it in this weird way.
Come on.
And they kind of are using a backstory that they haven't put into the other games. So they're they put in this backstory for this character in the game, and then expect you to care when the reveal comes, as if you've been oh man, there he is. I missed him this whole time. Well, no, you haven't. It's just this one fucking game. So that's a bit of a downer. But overall, I love it.
The game is good.
There's a lot of content in it.
Okay.
So really enjoy it.
Maybe one day I'll try it someday.
Yeah. What else I've done is I watched a couple movies.
Tell me about them.
I actually watched them both last night.
Double up. Wow. Yeah. You weren't working your fucking brief last night?
I had to take a day off, right, buddy? I came home at 7. I took a night off. So the first movie is It Follows. It's a horror movie.
It Follows.
I'm not a huge horror guy. I know you kind of like this.
I saw the Babadook.
What do you think?
Babadook.
Yeah, what do you think about that, real quick?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was very creepy.
It was very creepy.
Amply creepy. It had a weird ending that I didn't really get.
Yeah, that's my issue. I feel like horror movies. Well, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I didn't like the ending much either.
I did not like it, but it took
weird.
me a while to digest it and kind of get it, and then figure out it was not obvious at all.
Yeah, I think it was one of my picks once.
It was a pick of yours, yeah.
Good movie, yeah, really creepy. I wanted to see more of the Babadook.
Yeah,
he's real creepy. I like that character a lot. But again, kind of a weird ending.
I want that book.
Yeah, it's great.
That book was.
I guarantee you, somebody on Etsy or somewhere has made it.
Yeah, I want to get a museum of horror icons, like the Jason mask, the Kruger glove, the puzzle box from Hellraiser. They have all those replicas.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool to just have them
Somebody's got that shit, man.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, Predator mask and shit.
Predator mask.
So It Follows.
Okay.
It's a movie about, I don't know what the best way to explain it. So it's a group of teenagers, but what it's really based around is this weird thing where something is following you, and it keeps it's like a being, it's a person, and it looks different every time when you see it. And all it does is it walks slowly, like one step, two step, one step, two step, and it walks slowly at you the whole time. And you can outrun it really easily, but it never stops coming. And the only way to pass it on or get rid of it is by having sex with somebody. So if you have sex with somebody, now it is no longer following you, it's following the other person.
Nobody can see it?
Only the people who have passed it on or currently are the target can see it. Nobody else
What
can
if it
see
gets you?
It kills you. But it like murders you.
And then what?
And then you die, and then it goes back to the last person who had it.
Oh, okay.
The person who gave it to you.
It's like a real STD. It's an STD.
It is exactly. The whole movie is an allegory for STDs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's not...
Except for you don't get rid of it if you pass it on in STD terms.
Exactly, but it's definitely... that's kind of the idea behind it, although it's not too heavy-handed with it. It's
there's some similarities there.
But they do a really good job with the effect of the person following you. Like, in one scene, it's like an old lady in like a hospital gown, just walking really slow, and she's like in a...
Can you tell who it is?
It's always like it's a human being.
Yeah, but can you tell if that is not just an old lady, but the following one?
So it's also a little hard there because like people will be sitting and you'll be like, can you see that person over there? Like they'll ask people around them, and they'll go, yeah, it's like a dude, just a dude. You go, oh, okay, that's not him. But if they can't, so you always kind of gotta like pick out who it is.
Okay.
And like in one scene, it's like this creepy old lady, and a lot of times it'll be people you know. So like in one scene, it's like this girl's like family member coming. So you could also try to trick you by being a family member, So it's like all these like different things.
Weird.
But it's really creepy, and the soundtrack has got this like synth score.
Love it.
Like Drive, kind of like Drive.
Okay.
So it's got like a really cool synthy kind of feel to it.
Is it on Netflix or something?
No, I watch it on Popcorn Time.
Okay.
But you would like it. It's good. I really enjoyed it. It's not super scary. Like it's a little creepy, but there aren't like a lot of jump scares too much.
Sounds tight.
Yeah, it was good, and I like I like movies that have like rules like that. Where there's like these like rules you got.
How do you know what the rules are?
So the way we know as the viewer is, this is kind of the beginning of the movie. Is this girl goes on a date with this guy? He seems really sweet. They have sex consensually, and then he like knocks her out with chloroform, and she wakes up in this area. And he's like, look, I like you. I'm not a bad guy. I have to get rid of this, but like I'm gonna tell you what the deal is so that you can figure it out on your own.
Oh, he tells her.
Yeah, he like ties her to a wheelchair and waits till it's coming so she can see it because they can both see it because he gave it to her. And he tells her all the rules and then gets her out of there, right? So he tries to make her believe it's real, tells her the rules, so we as the viewer now know the rules, and then she's gone. Okay.
Why does he have to knock her out with chloroform first?
Because he's got to make her wait till the person gets there, and he's got to like set up the rules and stuff, and then he tries to get away. I don't totally know why he does that. I feel like it might be better if
pretty heavy-handed on narrative.
It kind of makes sense, I guess, because he's got her tied to like a wheelchair when he's telling her this stuff. If I was telling you, like, if we just had sex and I'm telling you this story, you'd be like, okay, buddy, like I get it, like you just gave me this. Like, it was an STD. What do you mean you gave me something?
Okay.
So...
All right, so he explained... How does he know? We don't know. He just knows.
He got it from somebody else. I don't know how he knows either.
He knows about it. Yeah. Okay, so then she has it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
Sounds sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's some weird stuff with, like, you can hit it. Like, people can't see it, but other people can, like, hit it. It's physical.
You can hit it. You can beat it up?
Yeah, so like, there's scenes where, like... They also do some cool things in the movie with who can see it and who can't. So, like, sometimes it'll be from the girl's point of view where you can see it. And other times it'll just be, like... things moving stuff around with, invisible, more or less. And like one person hits it with a chair and they can't see what's there, but you just see the chair like bounce back. So they do some cool stuff with that.
Interesting.
Great movie.
Okay.
So, yeah, a pick.
Wow.
My last pick.
Go ahead.
Whiplash.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was one of the Best Picture nominees.
What is it
last
about?
year? It's about this first year jazz student at like the nation's leading music school. Okay? And he's a drummer.
Okay.
And so he wants to get in this class of this really famous instructor who like teaches the best group in the nation. So he wants to be a famous drummer.
Okay.
Like, all the greats, like all the jazz bests.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he gets in this class, and the teacher's J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons. You remember the Spider-Man movies? You know, J. Jonah Jameson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's him. He's got that, he yells a lot, and he's got really intense. So he's
on the farmers commercials.
Yeah. So he's the instructor. And he's fucking nuts. He's insane. He pushes everybody to their edge. He breaks these people down. He yells at them. He screams at them. He makes them cry. He plays these fucking mind games with them. And is trying to break them down and make them better. And that's the whole point of the movie, and his whole argument is, what he's saying is that, like, this teacher's theory is that the only reason the greats are the greats is because somebody's pushed them to it. And he tells a story about Miles Parker, I think, some famous jazz drummer who was playing drums one day, and then some other guy threw threw some instrument at him. Like, threw it at him, and he had to, like, duck to avoid it. And he's like, that was shit. Do it again. Do it better. And so what did the guy do? He went home, and he's like, well, I'll never play that bad again. You know, I'm going to get better. And he practiced all night, and he got better. And he said, I'll never be embarrassed like that again in public. Mm-hmm. And his teacher's theory, he goes, the two worst words a person can ever hear when they're trying to succeed at something is good job.
I was going to say those are the two words.
Exactly. And the movie's all about this relationship within the teacher and the student, and how far this kid is going before he's breaking. And it's intense, man. It's just like it's laser focused. There's scenes of him drumming and his fingers are bleeding because he's been drumming so long from the drumsticks in his hands and splinters and shit. And he's just, it's crazy.
Popcorn time?
Yeah, again, popcorn time. These movies are out to rent and stuff, you know, all these different places.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons kills it.
He's good.
He's absolutely amazing. Miles Teller is the drummer. He's really good too.
Okay.
He's going to be in the new Fantastic Four movie. You've probably seen him in some rom-coms and shit. But it's just an interesting argument. I don't know what I think of it, because I think in a lot of ways pushing somebody too far can also do harm. I don't think I'm the personality who does really well when I'm pushed. When I'm like when I've played football, when coaches scream in my face, that doesn't do anything for me. That doesn't make me want to play harder. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm somebody who is more logical and rational, and I need that kind of structure. Mm. But maybe I don't. Maybe if somebody did push me and yell at me, maybe I'd get there eventually. And the other argument too is that if you don't get there, you're not meant to be one of the greats. Because the greats, the legends, that's how they're born. You know, steel is forged and tempered in lava and fire. Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
But it's a cool movie, man.
Cool movie.
Loved it. So that's my picks.
Does he become one of the greats at the end?
Spoiler alert, bro. Can't get there. Not going to tell you.
So I'm going to have to get an Xbox One.
Last thing I'll say, though, is about the ending.
Yeah.
It's a payoff. It's an awesome ending.
That's really cool.
Xbox One.
I might watch it. Yeah, Xbox One. I'm going to have to get one. Because, you know, they announced that thing about how it's now compatible backwards. Did we talk about that?
No,
They did say that. At E3, they announced it. They say they're going to make it backwards compatible. They're going to, they're releasing a software update.
Yeah,
fuck them. Mm-hmm. I've been saying this since they released the original thing. Well, how dare you do that?
It's not a good look in that sense. You're right, because it's like, well, you said you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Now you're doing it.
Yep.
And you're doing it late in the game, meaning you could have.
Yeah. You would have bought a fucking Xbox One.
I always thought it was some component you had to put in.
Yeah, like hardware couldn't handle it. Okay.
I probably would have.
Well, because all your games would have been active.
All my games, yeah.
You gave up your collection, essentially.
Now it's limited. It's not all games at first. But
right. They're doing some kind of bullshit where it's like only certain games are building it up, and I need to know what games. You know what I mean? Because
there's a list right now.
Yeah, but what's next? I want to know what's going to happen. You know, I need to study it a little bit.
The way I understand it is they basically built an emulator.
Yeah.
And they're running an emulator, the way your computer runs an emulator.
Which is great.
It's kind of nuts.
Good idea. You know what I mean? Do that again.
And I don't know if we did this. PlayStation does something kind of like it, where they've got PlayStation Now, which is like a rental service, or you pay a subscription, it's like $15 a month, and you have access to the whole library. So there's pros and cons to both, because one, you're playing your own games that you own, and you can play them still.
One is you just can't access any game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can access any game out there.
PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 and back?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's really cool. But fucking, if they could do this too, probably, why didn't everybody?
I'm so pissed. Here's why I'm pissed. Because I could have gotten a next-gen console.
Yeah.
And if I did get one, I would have gotten a PlayStation because I hate Xbox so much.
Yeah.
And if I would have bought that fucking PlayStation, when I heard this announcement, I would be so pissed off.
Yeah.
Luckily,
You waited.
I waited because I have no need. But now this new game's coming out, Naruto, in November, which I must have. So I got to get an Xbox One now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as upset as I thought I would be. There was definitely a moment when I heard about it being like...
Asshole.
Yeah, But also, the other thing is, at this point, I'm kind of transitioned into the new stuff a little bit. So it's like, you're more somebody who is tied to certain games and certain things. So I feel like you go back to things more.
Yeah.
That's not really me. So for you, this is perfect.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, it's a plus, but not something I'm
questioning. So Best Buy has I was Googling around best deals for Xbox One. Best Buy's got one where if you turn in your 360, you get $175 off.
These deals are coming up all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I want to give up my 360.
Because you're not going to be able to play all
Exactly. I don't know what I can and can't play. And I need to really take stock of what I want to care about, what I care about, what I don't. I care about some games and not others. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But if you see any good deals for Xbox One with like good packages, or I've never had one of those cool, colorful boxes. Like they have like the Halo edition or the Destiny edition where they're like white or whatever. Yeah. I want one of those.
The white one looks really
They're not cheap though. They're more expensive.
The white one I think you can get for a good price, a decent price. The white one looks cool.
I'm looking for good deals there.
Yeah.
But by come November, I'm going to have to be on the Xbox One bandwagon because I want to play Naruto 4.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye out for you, buddy.
Yeah, so thanks for coming to the podcast, number 44. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Make sure to follow us on the tweets. Make sure to give us some subscribes and give us a like or a dislike based on your choices with our various discussions today.
And a 5-star review on iTunes if you...
or Stitcher, whatever that is. Give us a review. And if you want to jerk off in a cup and send it to us in the mail,
don't do that.
I'm sure we'd love that.
Yeah.